Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the definitive answer on what's better, CDs or LPs. This is going to be a very short series. We've got about, well, let me put it to you this way. My partner, Sean, has acquired a really nifty DJ set with 2 turntables and some head-banging thump speakers. And oh my God, it's louder than you've ever heard in your entire life. And so because we now have turntables, I said to myself, Dave, I said, let me put this controversy to rest once and for all by getting a couple LPs, a few of them, and doing A-B comparisons with CDs. Now, some of you may say you have to do the A-B comparison on the same system. Nonsense, I say. I think that's complete horseshit. You don't have to do it any way you want to do it. And then simply see what sounds better to you. It happens that, as you know, I will not discuss audio systems and sound systems. But I have at least 4 or 5. Now with this set, we have more. And some of them are fairly high-end. Some of them are less so. They range, and so I can experiment and play things in different parts of the house in different ways. We have a Sonos system built into the wall. We got all this stuff, all this equipment which has just accumulated over the years. So I'm in a pretty good position to make these comparisons, and the recordings I got were simply based on what was cheap. What wasn't ridiculously priced, because these LPs are insanely expensive. If it's just a question of value for money, I would say forget it, because the differences aren't significant enough to justify the increased expense of LPs. And there are a couple objective facts we have to deal with, like, oh, it's so much easier. I forgot what a pain in the ass it is to put a stylus on a specific LP track if you don't want to just play the whole side all the way through, and watch out for scratches and things. Oh my word, they're such annoyances. And CDs have none of that problem, so yeah. But we do have really good equipment, and they are really good turntables. And my first thing to test and chat about was this. Prokofiev, Lieutenant Kijé in the Scythian suite with Claudio Abbado and the Chicago Symphony. Because although these were not, audiophile recordings, frankly, nothing DJ made was an audiophile recording, but, they were well recorded, very well recorded, and played to a fairly well by the Chicago Symphony with its massive brass section. So I compared that. Wait a minute, something's falling out here. What is this? Oh, you get all this crap with this. I only looked at the disc. I didn't even open this. You get the little tray card thing and the original Source Series brochure. So that's all in there. All right, there we go. For 40 some odd bucks or whatever it costs, which is just nuts. And you get these things pressed on very high quality vinyl, which is good. And then here is the same thing on CD, where that whole LP is a mere attachment, a coupling to Alexander Nevsky, which is fabulous with the LSO. Now, there's also no question that the CD is enormously better value than the LP in terms of the amount of music you get and all that. But okay, be that as it may. We dropped the needle, Sean and I, and then we listened to the CD. And, the results were rather interesting. Sean preferred the sound of the LP. I really had very little preference. I felt it depended on what you were listening for.
And I think the sound of the LP sounds better because of the clarity of the needle hitting the plastic. It sounded a lot different.
Vinyl. It's vinyl.
Yeah, it was a lot different. It sounded clear, and I loved it.
Well, there you have it. The word of God from on high. No, seriously, he prefers the LP, the sound of the LP, and I understand that. And I like the sound of the CD for certain things. Like, for example, in the war thing, in the Scythian suite, bah, 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 you hear the low notes of the piano. I mean, the CD has more clarity It does have more clarity, and it's not colder, and the LP isn't warmer. You know, these qualitative adjectives don't really apply to describe whether one is better than the other one. There is no such thing. It's only a question of what your own preference is, obviously. And I enjoyed both. I really did. I think Sean's system is just slamming. I really do. And I think that the sound of the CD was absolutely terrific, the way it was remastered. And I enjoy them tremendously. I don't understand why we even need to choose. For me, at this point in this experiment, it's just a question of value for money and whether you enjoy it as much as you would otherwise. And I found neither of them to be obviously more enjoyable. I really didn't. But, you know, you may be much more picky than I am, or you may be somebody with theoretically elevated hearing qualities, such as Sean, right? Yeah, okay. And so there it is. This is just the first installment. So I'm going to do like 4 or 5 or 6 of these. I don't know, depending on how many LPs I get. And we'll make these comparisons, and we'll just see if one of them may sound better than the other in certain circumstances. I can tell you one thing. There is going to be no conclusion possible absent the room, the acoustics, the equipment, the LP in question, CD in question, the recording quality of them at the source, all the remastering, all the schmagegi stuff, all the marketing and PR. It doesn't count for anything. It really, really doesn't. And we'll see. We'll see if there are any clear preferences emerge. I got some Universal stuff. I got some RCA stuff. I got some Telarc stuff. So I have a small but quasi-representative sample that should allow us to make the comparisons. But as far as these particular recordings go, these things, I really hear very, very little difference. It is nice, I do have to say, to get an LP that is on top quality vinyl with silent background, so there's no crackle and snap and pop and whatnot. I mean, you know, they should have done that the entire time. I think a lot of the preference for CD was simply due to the fact that LP quality sucked. And if the quality of the LP is as high as they can make it, yes, you'll have to worry about degradation and the fact that it, you know, can get dusty, and you'll have to keep it clean and take exquisitely good care of it, and be very careful finding the right grooves if you don't want to play the whole side at a time. I mean, all of those things apply. But there's no question that a superior pressing on quality vinyl of an LP can sound absolutely magnificent. And they certainly did. I mean, it certainly did. It's very good sound, but equally good sound so far. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.